What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Retro Cup running a triple Shadow Johto Legendary team with Shadow Raikou in the lead and Lugia and Ho-Oh in the back. Now all three of these Pokemon are very strong but don't particularly work well together because they've all got very strong hard-hitting Nuke charge moves, but there aren't really any bait moves here, so that is a bit of a problem. And as well, initially I was running Volt Switch on my Raikou, and combined with the Incinerate on Ho-Oh, it makes it very predictable when I'm going to throw a charge move because there's not a lot of freedom. There aren't many different opportunities for me to throw a charge move because of how slow those moves are. So eventually I end up TMing that away to Thunder Shock, and we did do a little bit better, but yeah, like still it's very difficult when you're running a team like this, especially when they do have such like hard-hitting Nuke charge moves that are perhaps a little bit higher in energy. There aren't many different opportunities to throw a charge move, so making catches and sort of over farming and stuff like that is quite easy for my opponents, so bear that in mind. The team overall, I think I averaged probably like a 50% win rate, so not the best, not the worst. Definitely don't recommend this for climbing, but if you want to have fun, then this is definitely a team where you're going to have a lot of fun because you're going to be landing so many Nuke charge moves, and what's more fun than that? Well, I mean, I guess winning is probably quite fun as well, but yeah, like still, I had a lot of fun running this team. So now for the question of the day, I want to know from you guys, what is the most overrated Pokemon in Pokemon Go from a GBL perspective? Now this can be for any of the three main leagues, so Great League, Ultra League, Master League, it doesn't matter. Just let me know which Pokemon you think is the most overrated, and also tell me why you think that, and you might have a chance at a shout out in my next GBL video. But with that being said, let's get into the battles now. So we're going into the first battle and we lead into a Medicham, so we do have two better answers, but they actually switch out into an Alolan Marowak, so I'm actually going to go straight for the Wild Charge here before eventually switching into my Shadow Ho-Oh here. Now I can tank any one move. If they have Shadow Ball, then that's going to do a lot of damage. Shadow Bone doesn't do quite as much, and at this point I wasn't really counting, to be honest, so they go for a Bone Club. I don't really know if they would have got to another Shadow Bone there or not, but I end up shielding anyway, and they don't shield there, so that is fine. We still maintain switch advantage, and I'm also able to get to a Brave Bird here against the Medicham, and we get the final shield from my opponent, so now I'm in a very good position here. I'm going to wait out the switch clock and then come in with Lugia. My opponent switches into Cofagrigus and I'm a bit slow to switch out, meaning that I am going to have to shield in this matchup if I want to take out this Cofagrigus with the Raikou here. I'm going to go for a Wild Charge after over farming by one Volt Switch. We take out the Cofagrigus and my opponent is able to counter me down. But we're in a very good position here. We can even tank two Ice Punches. They go for a Power Up Punch, and that probably suggests that they don't have Ice Punch. They go for the Psychic, and we easily tank that, and now I'm able to win that game. So GG's to that opponent. Into the next game, we lead into a Cofagrigus this time. So at this point, it's looking like Cofagrigus is a pretty common pick, but actually I don't think I saw that many of them. So we get a shield advantage here. I'm going to switch into the Shadow Ho-Oh because this is sort of an ABB style team, so that is always good. And we're met with a Cast Form, and rather foolishly I didn't throw my move straight away, and they're able to outpace me to a Rock Weather Ball here, and things are not looking good for me at all. I'm still not going to be able to get to this next Brave Bird either, so yeah, like this is not very good. Cast Form is a bit of a core breaker for this team. I'm going to come in with Raikou. I tried to catch there, but I just slightly missed the switch button on my first tap there, meaning an extra Volt Switch goes through, and now it's all up to Lugia, and I'll be honest, I don't think I'm even going to be able to farm this down before they get to another charge move, and I'm not able to, and we just got swept by a Cast Form. So wow, that is just so embarrassing, but that's just how it goes sometimes when you run a team that you didn't really put too much thought into. there are sometimes Pokemon that just absolutely run through your team that you just didn't expect to see at all, and certainly Castform was one of them. Here we led into a Medicham. Once again we have better matchups in the back, but I get a shield advantage before switching out into the Ho-Oh. They come in with a Lickitung, which is a very bulky Pokemon, but we can tank a Stomp, what the heck? I was going to say we can tank a Body Slam, but we just got hit by a Stomp, and that was really bizarre. I don't even know what to say about that, but we're going to land the Brave Bird here. Boom, we take out the tanky Lickitung, and now I've got my Pokemon aligned to the right Pokemon here, and we've also got a 2 shield advantage, and once again they're not running Ice Punch, and for some reason I'm staying in for a very long time before I switch out here, and I am going to shield it, so that's not a catch or anything. I didn't really mean to do that. I was just thinking about what I wanted to do, and we're just barely able to get to a Wild Charge here. We're going to take out the Frostlass, and we're in a very good position. My opponent decides to concede the match, and rightfully so. They had no play there. They didn't have an Ice Punch. They only had Psychic and probably Power Up Punch, so we were able to take that game. Now into the next game, we lead into a Wall Rain. They're actually staying in, so perhaps they're double weak to Raikou, but I'm actually not going to shield this up, and I'm going to go for a Wild Charge here. And my opponent is happy to let the Wall Rain go down, so that's fine, perfectly fine with me. I'm going to come in with the Ho-Oh here. We can just shield once and we should be able to incinerate all the way down. My opponent goes for a Seed Bomb bait, but then they throw really early, so this is definitely just another Seed Bomb, so that's perfect. I don't have to shield that, and they have an Araquanid in the back, and this should be pretty comfortable for me. These Bug Bites are neutral damage, but the Sky Attacks are going to be super effective and do quite a lot of damage to the bulky Bug Pokemon here. They go for a Bubble Beam initially, which is fine by me, not going to do very much damage at all, and we still get a shield anyway from the Sky Attack there. Once again, I'm not going to shield this up, and they go for the Bug Buzz this time, so that does take me out. I go for a Brave Bird here. We're refunded with our energy, but in all honesty it doesn't make a difference, because even when I debuff my defense by 3 stages, the Bug Bites are still double resisted, so we would have been able to get to another charge move there and still take out the Araquanid. So GG's to that opponent. Into the next game and the final battle of this first set. We lead into another Medicham. I'm going for the Wild Charge here, and once again I've got switch advantage. Now I'm going to switch into the Ho-Oh. We can tank any one move. They just go for an Ice Punch, which is fine by me. They're going to go for another charge move here, and we can still tank this, so I'm going to save my shields for the end game. They come in with an Oranguru, and we're just barely able to tank that one Confusion. We get to a Brave Bird, and that nearly takes them out, and they are in a very comfortable range for me to farm down with my Lugia here, and they have already shown the Medicham, and they have a Hypno, so they're running a triple Psychic team, which is a bit questionable, but whatever. I guess it works fine because of the Oranguru having the normal typing, so they're not completely weak to Ghost. But yeah, we're going to be in a very comfortable position here. We're able to farm them down, and my opponent concedes the match there. So we go 4-1 in our first set. And into the next battle, the first of the bonus battles. We actually have a lot of bonus battles. So yeah, I don't know why I'm really calling them bonus battles, they're just more battles. But we lead into a Cofagrigus, so we're going to go for a Wild Charge here. We've got the back-to-back loaded, so we're going to go for the back-to-back here, and then probably switch out into Ho-Oh. So we get the first shield here. Will we get a second shield, or will my opponent double shield? They choose to double shield, and actually they switch out. So I'm going to come up with Lugia here, and we should be able to wall this Medicham, especially if they're not running Ice Punch, but they are this time, but that's still fine. We can tank 2 of those comfortably, and we do double resist the counters, so I'm actually going to farm all the way up to the back-to-back Sky Attacks here. Go for the first one. This should take out the Medicham, and they'll have another one loaded to throw into this Cofagrigus, and this should do a lot of damage to the Cofagrigus. It nearly takes him out, and my opponent is still not able to take me out with 1 Shadow Claw, and now we're in a very good position. They do actually have Infestation instead of the Bug Bite, so they get to the Bubble Beam faster than usual, but that's fine. I'm actually going to switch out here and then go for a Brave Bird. I've reset the debuff, but honestly, Brave Bird probably KO'd from that range anyway, even with the 1-stage debuff, because Brave Bird hits so damn hard and it is super effective. Into the next game, we lead into a Lickitung, so a very bulky Pokemon and a little bit problematic to deal with here. I'm going to overfarm as much as possible. They switch into a Nidoqueen, so I'm going to hold on to all of that energy, switch into my Lugia. They go straight for the Poison Fang, which is fine by me. I'm not planning on shielding in this matchup whatsoever. I go for a Sky Attack, I get a shield from my opponent, and my opponent is going to be able to Poison Jab, farm me all the way down. I'm going to come in with the Raikou and just go for a Wild Charge, and it is double resisted, but from this range it should easily be able to KO this Nidoqueen. And we take them out. They choose not to shield, which is fine by me. I'm going to switch out, bank a Wild Charge on my Raikou, and we should be in a pretty good position here. I'm thinking Medicham's Psychic is probably the most threatening move that I'll be hit by here, so I'm going to shield that up, go for an Earthquake, and they let it go through, so now we should be in a good position here. As long as we can get to a Brave Bird, we should be able to take this game because we do have a Wild Charge on my Raikou in the back as well. So we get to the Brave Bird here, and boom, we take out the Lickitung. My opponent probably realised that we have the charge move stored on the Raikou, so it didn't really matter which one they shielded. And into the next game, we lead into a Shadow Venusaur, so not a good lead. I switch into Lugia, I'm met with Defense Form Deoxys. Now I can tank any one move from the Deoxys here. And they go for a Thunderbolt, which does a lot of damage, but I'm able to tank it. I get to an Aeroblast, but I'm going to go for a Sky Attack. Unfortunately, they no-shield it, so I should have gone for the Aeroblast. But I'm able to get to another Sky Attack, and my opponent decides not to shield that up either. So I am able to regain switch advantage, but they have a Lickitung, which is still very difficult to deal with here. They go for a Body Slam. I'm going to overfarm by one Volt Switch, go for a Wild Charge, and then instantly switch into my Ho-Oh here. And my opponent also instantly switches out, and this is the best case scenario for me because they come in with a Venusaur and I can just incinerate down fully. They go for a bait there, but they're not able to get to another move anyway, so that's perfect for me. I'm gonna no shield up this Body Slam, go for an Earthquake here, and then one more Incinerate, and I'll be able to get to a Brave Bird. And once again, Ho-Oh is going to be able to take out a very bulky Lickitung with the Brave Bird here, and boom, we take him out there. So GG's to that opponent. I got a bit fortunate with that simultaneous swap, but I'm still happy to take that game, so GG's once again. Into the next game, we lead into Defense Form Deoxys, and I saw a lot of Deoxys in the lead here. I'm going to shield this up. They usually go for a Rock Slide, so I'm going to be able to get to the back-to-back Wild Charges, but they actually switch out into, I think that was a Greedent. We go for the Wild Charge, and we're able to catch a Body Slam onto the Ho-Oh, so this is good. Body Slam does less than 50%, and these Bullet Seeds are double resisted. My opponent doesn't throw a move. I'm able to get to the Brave Bird, and boom, I take out the Greedent there. They come in with the Oranguru. They're able to Confusion farm me down. I'm going to wait out the switch clock, come in with the Lugia here, and we can tank a Foul Play. We're able to get an extra Dragon Tail through, which is nice. And I'm going to go for a Sky Attack after one more Dragon Tail so that they only get one free turn in there. We get the shield from them, and now I'm actually going to force them to throw their energy here, and that's perfect. Very good timing by my opponent to throw on CMP. I'm going to come in with the Raikou here. We're not able to get a Volt Switch through. I'm anticipating that they switch straight away, so I go for the Shadow Ball there, and they do switch, and they catch a Shadow Ball onto their Deoxys, unfortunately for them, and I'm able to take that game. So anticipating the switch is what won me the game there. If I went for one more fast move, then I probably would have been low enough for a simultaneous KO, and maybe the Deoxys even had a charge move loaded, I'm not sure. But into the next game, we lead into yet another Deoxys defense form. I'm going for the back-to-back Wild Charges here. The first one gets shielded. I'm going to go for the second one straight away and then probably switch into Lugia. Yep, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Once again, I can tank any charge move that this Deoxys throws. They go for the Rock Slide, so they should be able to get to the second Rock Slide a bit faster, but I'm able to get to the Sky Attack here, and this is going to take out the Deoxys here. And now my opponent is going to come in with a wall rain here, so they're going to be able to farm me all the way down, but not before I get to a sky attack. And from a shadow, this is actually going to do quite a decent chunk to the wall rain here. But like I said, my opponent farms me down fully, which is not ideal. I get an incinerate through, which is perfect, and that is the way the game should work, but it usually doesn't. But I'm able to switch to catch the move here, and now I should be able to get another incinerate through and farm them down before they get to a charge move. My opponent comes in with Greedent. I'm going to shield this up. Honestly, I probably shouldn't have shielded this up, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go for the Brave Bird here, and Brave Bird should be enough to KO this Greedent. And boom, it is, and we're able to take that game. So you can see the closing power on Shadow Ho is absolutely insane. And if you paired it with a few more spammier Pokemon that maybe didn't debuff themselves every time they threw a charge move as well, then maybe it would do even better. But here, not a very good lead, and actually I can't really switch out, so I'm able to get a shield from my Wild Charge, and they throw on the CMP tie, which is perfect. I'm going to come in with the Ho-Oh here. This can be a Shadow Ball, so I will shield it up and commit to a full Incinerate farm down, but they come in with Regirock, so I'm going to go for the Earthquake here. And this should get the final shield, which it does, and my opponent is going to throw straight away, and I get an Incinerate through there. So now I'm going to be able to get to the Earthquake. I should have been able to get to one more Incinerate before they throw, but I just wanted to play it safe, so I throw the Earthquake straight away there. And I'm going to switch to catch a charge move on my Lugia. This is against a Shadow Wall Rain, so I'll do a lot more damage than usual. And will I be able to get to a Sky Attack? No, and my opponent goes into Trevenant. What I should have done is got farmed down here, but I threw the game here, so now my opponent has a charge move ready. If I got farmed down by the Trevenant there, then I could have come in with Ho-Oh, incinerate them down and had a charge move ready, but my opponent is able to read me like a book there and absolutely destroyed me in the end game. So GG's to that opponent, very well played. And into this game, I can't even remember what we led into there. I think it was Pidgeot, and you'll see I think we are now running Thundershock on the Raikou here for a bit more freedom with when I can throw my charge moves. And there once again I tapped slightly in the wrong place and wasn't able to get my switch there. So I'm going to go for a Wild Charge here, and then I'm going to eventually switch into Lugia. And my opponent doesn't throw straight away, so they're able to correctly throw a Crunch here. And now my opponent is actually going to bank a ton of energy and switch into the Pidgeot here. So I'm going to go for the Aeroblast. They don't have any shields. Finally, I'm going to be able to land it. And boom, we take out the Pidgeot there. And my opponent is still going to be forced to throw a move, but they do farm up quite a lot of extra energy here. So Body Slam, able to take me out. I'm going to come in with the Ho-Oh here. And once again, I do get the Incinerate through, which is the way it should work. But a lot of the games that I had, I was not getting these Incinerates through, and it certainly cost me. But yeah, we're able to farm down here. I'm not sure what they're going to bring in. So I switch into Raikou, and they have an Araquanid. So I'm easily going to be able to take him out. Even if I didn't throw the Brave Bird, I can take him out with the Wild Charge, and boom, we take him out there. So now into the final battle that I'm going to be showing you guys, we lead into a Galvantula. So Galvantula, kind of difficult to deal with here, but I anticipate that they're going to go straight for a lunge, so I switch and catch it on the Ho-Oh, which is double resisted. They come in with a Swampert. Now Swampert, not a very good matchup for Ho-Oh whatsoever. I'm actually going to shield a Hydro Cannon here because I want to at least get a shield back from my opponent, which I'm able to do there. And now my opponent is correctly farming up a ton of energy. Actually, they could have gone even more so, but maybe they even got to 100 energy. I'm not sure, I wasn't really keeping track. I come in with the Lugia here. We can tank any one move and probably two moves quite comfortably because the Mud Shots don't do too much damage. They switch into the Galvantula there, and I'm able to go for a Sky Attack here. It just barely doesn't KO, and I can Thundershock farm them down here. I'm going to go for the back-to-back Wild Charges against this Swampert. It is resisted, but at this range, a Wild Charge will certainly KO the Swampert. They shielded the first one. Boom, we take them out with the second one. They come in with a Cresselia, so I'm just barely able to get to a Shadow Ball here just before they're going to throw their charge move. And it lands, and it was actually a CMP tie, which is perfect for me. I can let the Raikou go down, and I'm going to be able to Dragon Tail, farm down this Cresselia, and take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy these battles, then make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well don't forget to respond to the question of the day for a chance at a shout out in my next video. Overall, I had a lot of fun running this team, although there certainly were some issues with the team. For starters, all three Pokemon have pretty much no bait moves, there's just full on nukes, and that's great in the closer position, but not really great to have all three Pokemon running strictly nukes, because it means it's kind of difficult to maintain switch advantage when your opponent is intending on double shielding. So I didn't really show you too many scenarios in this video where my opponent was able to sort of flip switch advantage and be in a lot better position, but yeah, just in general it's kind of like it's quite tough to do that when you're only running nuke charge moves. And as well, I think the biggest factor that sort of led to a lot of my losses and also some of my wins is the fast move inconsistencies. Like, they've been a problem for a long time, but I think in this meta where there are quite a lot of Pokemon running like 4-turn moves like Hypno and Oranguru, and obviously running Volt Switch and Incinerate on my Pokemon, it makes a massive difference if both you and your opponent are running 4-turn fast moves, so you have to throw on alignment, but your opponent is always denying your fast moves when they throw a charge move, yet they're always getting a fast move through when you throw your own charge move, because that's 4 extra turns every single time, and it just is really frustrating because that can completely flip matchups even when you've got a very dominant type advantage against your opponent. So yeah, like that alone is a problem usually, but even more so in this meta where there are a lot more 4 and potentially 5-turn fast move Pokemon. As well, I noticed that my Ho-Oh was getting denied a lot with its Incinerates. I specifically mentioned a few times in this video where I was like really pleased to get that Incinerate through when they threw a charge move, because it was just rarely happening and it's supposed to happen, so like it is frustrating. So moving on to the shoutouts from my previous video, we're going to start off with B Max T, who says they ran Mew with Snarl, Grass Knot and Dazzling Gleam in a draft tournament once. They managed to one-hit KO a Swampert and a Scrafty in the same battle and managed to win that round, which is absolutely insane. I can imagine that would have been super satisfying to have both of those go unshielded. And yeah, Mew is certainly a Pokemon with a ton of different charge moves that they can run, as well as fast moves as well. Snarl is not often used on Mew, so a very spicy moveset and also able to come in clutch with the double nukes. Next we've got Raghav Gupta, and we're going to be focusing on the Swampert, who was running Earthquake and Sludge Wave and was able to one-shot a Leafeon and an Empoleon in the same match. I'm sure once they saw the Leafeon get nuked by the Sludge Wave, they didn't expect to get hit with an Earthquake on the Empoleon, so a very spicy moveset there. And then finally we've got Kenneth Chu, who says Leaf Blade and Leaf Storm on Lurantis. They managed to one-shot a Diggersby, so typically you run Leaf Blade and Superpower, both very hard-hitting low energy charge moves, but Diggersby can still tank both of those, but a Leaf Storm is certainly going to take out a Diggersby, so a very fun moveset there, and that's why they're getting a shout out. So with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.